Hi there, as a part of AgilePoint's version 10 release, we're happy to announce support for Claude. Over the course of this video, we'll first show you how to connect to Claude using an AgilePoint access token, and then ensure you know how to use the various activities in the Claude activity group via a sample application. Okay, so let's get started by creating that access token. So I'm now in Manage. Under App Builder, I have Global Access Tokens. So what we'll be doing here is creating a globally reusable token as opposed to an app-specific token. So first we'll select Add a new token and search for Claude. Now as you're seeing here, the configuration is pretty straightforward. We'll give our token a name and provide the API key. That is the one detail we'll need from the Claude side. And once provided, if you're creating this for the first time, go ahead and test the connection. Now at the bottom, you're seeing a drop-down list where I can select a model. This is really handy from an ongoing manageability perspective if I prescribe the model at the access token level, meaning I now have one place to change that model as opposed to multiple applications and various activities within each application. Okay, so now that we know how to connect to Claude, let's look at the various activities that are available. So like many of the other AI platforms, the Claude integration has both process activities, which you're seeing here, as well as AI control towers. Now in the companion video, we'll show you how to use and configure the various Claude control towers, but for today, we're going to focus around the process activities. So as you're seeing here, I have two activities available. One is to leverage computer vision to analyze a provided image, and two being chat completion. Now this is going to be very similar to the chat sort of experience you might have had with Claude, ChatGPT, or Gemini over the years, and what we'll be using as a part of our application today. So today's use case, as you're seeing here across the top, is document intelligence, where we leverage various Claude agents to extract and compare details against two versions of an executed agreement. The process kicks off with a new document that's been executed, attached to a form, and submitted for processing. We'll convert that document into text that our various agents can then leverage. And that brings us to our first agent, in charge of classifying the type of document that we've uploaded. From here, as you're seeing, different process branches depending on the type of document that's been submitted. So here we have a sub-agent for analyzing the details of a statement of work, and another in charge of extracting information from a license agreement, as well as a number of sub-processes. So let's walk through the behavior of our various agents. Starting off with our classification agent, you're seeing here that I've selected my access token to connect to Claude. I've specified the model, and you're seeing here I do have values that I can select from my drop-down list. And as a result, you'll notice that the use model configured in the access token is grayed out. I didn't select that when creating this access token. So again, as a result, I can select from various models here. And then initial model parameters. So let's move into the system instructions. So if you're coming at this from a pure AI development background or prompt engineering background, the following dialog will look a little different. As opposed to a large blob of text, AgilePoint has broken out the various aspects of our system instructions into different tabs. So starting with the goals and mission, the goals are to classify the provided text into a number of predefined document types: statement of work, licensing agreement, customer feedback, and other. The skills are to identify contractual, legal, and service-related language, to distinguish formal agreement from informal feedback, and to detect elements that you might see in, say, a statement of work or a license agreement. Scope, licensing, and others, and to make a deterministic classification for later use in our automation. Now the input is going to be the text that is extracted from the agreement, various instructions that pertain to the different document types, the statement of work, the licensing agreement, or customer feedback. Nothing here from a quality verification perspective, but the output is going to be to return one of the following values as plain text. So no JSON, no markdown, no extra words, etc. Is this document a statement of work, a license agreement, feedback from a customer, or other? And again, this will drive the different tracks that are activated as a part of our application. The incoming content is going to be the entire agreement text itself. And the response, as you're seeing here, I've stored in a variable, will be the category of that document. Okay, so that's our classification agent. Here we have agents for statements of work and licensing agreements. The configuration is very similar, so I won't walk through both of them, but let's take a look at our license agent. So again, here I've connected into Claude, specified the model, initial parameters. But moving into the system instructions, here they're going to be a little more specific for the different types of documents. So here we're extracting structured metadata from a license agreement. Skills are document parsing, identification of key clauses and metadata, JSON formatting, etc. Again, here the input is going to be the entire agreement text. Various instructions pertaining to this document type, being a license agreement. Again, no quality verification, and the output here being a JSON structure. The incoming message is going to be the entire agreement text, and the response, as you can see here, we've mapped to my AgilePoint schema. So you're seeing here all of the relevant details that we're interested in coming out of that agreement and then being mapped back into my AgilePoint application schema. Okay, now as I mentioned, the statement of work agent is going to be configured very similarly, only tailored for statements of work. But as you're seeing here, we do have a number of sub-processes that we'll quickly walk through. So first, I have the sub-process for our license agreement track. So once that extract has taken place, what AgilePoint will do next is compare against our current understanding of this customer in my customer system of record. So we have all of the details extracted from the license agreement. We're running a comparison against what's stored in my existing systems of record, and a human will be brought into the loop to make a side-by-side comparison and to validate the differences between the new agreement and our current understanding of that customer. Now, at the end of the process here, we're going to upload that new agreement to that existing customer record to harmonize the data across all of these sources. Okay, now taking a quick look here at the statement of work sub-process, as you're seeing here, very similar, again, just tailored to the specifics of a statement of work, but the same steps will apply. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and run the application. Okay, so now we're in our form where we can initiate the process. And for this instance, what we'll do is we'll kick off with a license agreement. So as you can see here, that's now uploading to my document repository. Now that the process is launched, let's go ahead and track it. Okay, so as you're seeing here, we submitted a new document for processing. We converted that document into text, and our classification agent has correctly identified this document as a license agreement. So now our sub-process has been activated. We're now extracting our current understanding of the customer from our system of record, and in just a moment, we'll see the human task become available. Okay, so here we're seeing on the first tab all of the relevant details extracted from that license agreement. The account record this agreement will pertain to. Licensor versus licensee details. And metadata comparison. Now, the right-hand column is our current understanding of the customer as stored in our existing system of record, and the left-hand column being all of the relevant details extracted from that license agreement. Obviously here, the red hues are showing me there's a couple of areas of key discrepancies. So moving over to the next tab, under Action, we can determine how best to harmonize the data. Now, based on the discrepancies that we're seeing here, a metadata update would push those values from the license agreement to our system of record, but we can always upload a new agreement and kick off our contracts management flow. In my case, I'm going to go ahead and select no change, and let's run this application once more with the SOW path. Okay, doing this once more, I'm going to grab the SOW this time. All right, so that's been uploaded. And we'll bring up our process tracker. All right, now in this case here, we're seeing the SOW path has activated. In just a second, we'll see that sub-process kick in, and we'll be able to perform our human review. All right, so as you're seeing here, Claude has done a great job extracting and comparing all of the relevant details between the two versions of this agreement. So with that, this is going to conclude the content for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this gives you a better understanding of how to leverage these Claude activities via this sample application. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.